Attachment theory in dating explains why two people can want love and still react to closeness differently. The practical engine is simple. Early emotional patterns can shape how safe, threatening, confusing, or comforting intimacy feels later. A simple example is one partner feeling calm after a good date while the other starts worrying about being abandoned. Once you see that, dating reactions often come from safety systems, not only attraction. Secure attachment usually feels steady rather than dramatic. Mechanically, a secure person can enjoy closeness, ask for reassurance, respect space, and repair conflict without assuming the relationship is doomed. A realistic case is someone saying they felt hurt by a canceled plan without attacking or disappearing. That small detail changes the decision because security creates room for honesty and calm repair. Anxious attachment makes uncertainty feel urgent. The process works because delayed replies, vague plans, or emotional distance can activate fear of rejection. One ordinary version is a person checking their phone repeatedly after one slower message from someone they like. This matters because the nervous system treats silence like danger. Avoidant attachment makes closeness feel costly. The hidden lever is that dependence, emotional requests, labels, or future planning can create pressure to pull away. Think of someone enjoying several dates and then feeling trapped when asked where the relationship is going. So the useful takeaway is that distance can become a protection strategy. Fearful avoidant attachment can swing between craving closeness and fearing it. The moving part is this. The person may pursue connection, then panic when it becomes real. Picture texting intensely for days and then withdrawing after a vulnerable conversation. The result is that the pattern can confuse both partners because the desire and fear are both genuine. Attachment is not a dating label to weaponize. What changes the outcome is that calling someone anxious or avoidant can become a shortcut that replaces curiosity. This shows up when a couple blaming every conflict on attachment style instead of discussing the actual hurt. That is why the theory helps only when it improves understanding and behavior. Dating activates attachment because the outcome is uncertain. In real life, early-stage romance has ambiguity, mixed signals, hope, risk, and limited information. You can see it when 2 great dates followed by 3 quiet days causing very different reactions in different people. The practical lesson is that uncertainty reveals attachment strategies quickly. Communication patterns expose attachment needs. Under the surface, some people seek reassurance through frequent contact, while others regulate by taking space. For example, one partner wanting a goodnight message and the other seeing daily texting as pressure. The viewer should remember that conflict often begins when regulation strategies collide. Conflict can trigger old expectations. The practical engine is simple. A small disagreement may feel like abandonment to one person and engulfment to another. A simple example is after a dinner argument, one person wants to talk immediately while the other needs an hour alone. Once you see that, the fight is partly about the present and partly about perceived safety. Healthy dating requires naming needs without demanding mind reading. Mechanically, attachment awareness turns silent tests into direct requests. A realistic case is saying, "I like hearing from you after plans change," instead of pretending not to care and building resentment. That small detail changes the decision because clear requests are easier to answer than hidden exams. Boundaries and avoidance are not the same. The process works because a boundary protects values while staying honest. Avoidance uses distance to escape emotional discomfort. One ordinary version is asking for one quiet night after work versus disappearing whenever commitment is discussed. This matters because the reason for space matters. Reassurance and control are not the same either. The hidden lever is that a reasonable reassurance request invites connection, while control tries to remove all uncertainty from the other person. Think of asking for clarity about plans versus demanding location updates all day. So the useful takeaway is that security grows through trust, not surveillance. Attachment patterns can attract each other. The moving part is this: anxious and avoidant dynamics often form a pursue-withdraw loop. Picture one partner pushes for closeness after feeling distance, and the other pulls away because the pressure feels intense. The result is that both people may be reacting to fear while blaming the other. Secure behavior can be learned in dating. What changes the outcome is that people practice steadiness through honesty, consistency, repair, self-soothing, and choosing partners who respond with care. This shows up when waiting before sending panic texts and then asking a clear question later. That is why attachment style is a pattern, not a life sentence. Partner choice matters. In real life, some relationships repeatedly activate old wounds, while others create enough safety for growth. You can see it when an anxious person dating someone consistently warm versus someone who enjoys ambiguity and power games. The practical lesson is that healing is harder in a dynamic that keeps reopening the same fear. The practical question is what happens after activation. Under the surface, everyone gets triggered sometimes, but healthier dating depends on repair after fear appears. For example, after withdrawing, a partner returns and says they needed space but still care. The viewer should remember that repair turns attachment awareness into trust. Attachment theory helps when it slows judgment. The practical engine is simple. Instead of asking what is wrong with this person, it asks what safety strategy is operating here. A simple example is seeing a clingy text or sudden withdrawal as a signal to understand, not automatically as a verdict. Once you see that, curiosity creates better choices than instant labeling. In dating, attachment explains the emotional weather around closeness. Mechanically, it does not decide compatibility alone, but it shows how people handle distance, reassurance, conflict, and commitment. A realistic case is the same romantic situation feeling safe to one person and risky to another. That small detail changes the decision because love works better when both people understand the safety needs underneath their reactions. Attachment theory in dating helps explain why two people can experience the same relationship very differently. One person may read delayed replies as rejection. Another may read frequent check-ins as pressure. Neither reaction comes from the text message alone. Each person is filtering the moment through expectations about closeness, safety, independence, and being chosen. The useful part is noticing patterns, not labeling people forever. Someone with anxious patterns may seek reassurance when connection feels uncertain. Someone with avoidant patterns may pull back when closeness feels demanding. A secure pattern can usually stay connected without losing itself. These are not fixed boxes. They are learned strategies that can soften with awareness and safer experiences. In dating, attachment patterns often appear during transitions, after intimacy, after conflict, before commitment, or during silence. A great weekend may make one person feel closer and the other suddenly crave distance. A disagreement may make one person want immediate repair while the other needs time. Seeing the pattern can prevent both people from assuming the worst. Attachment theory should make dating more honest, not more dramatic. The question is not, what label can I put on this person? The better question is, what happens to each of us when closeness, distance, fear, or conflict appears? When people can answer that calmly, dating becomes less about guessing and more about understanding whether the connection can become safe.